Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Welcome back to my channel, my lovelies. If you've never been here before, thank you so much for clicking on my video. I am so happy you found me. I do so hope that you will like and subscribe before you leave. Become part of the Mama family. Mama's got your back, at least where makeup's concerned, and definitely when that makeup is cheap. Today is New Makeup Monday. We've got lots of new drugstore releases to talk about. Some were freaking fantastic, others not so much. Before we get started, a very special, very warm welcome to any of those that are new to my channel. I am so incredibly happy that you are here. If you enjoy the content, I do so hope that you will mash that thumbs up button. I hope that you will subscribe if you have not already, and I hope that you will ring my bell, turn on your notifications, so that way next time I upload a video, you can come right back here and we can hang out together again. Also, my makeup is already done. I am loving today's makeup. I used a new palette. We're not going to talk about it just yet. Better stay tuned. We'll talk about it a little bit later this week. But I did make sure to film a TikTok on today's eye look. I will make sure to have the tags for that, as well as all of my other socials, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff, listed in the description box below. Guys, if you are not following me on all my other socials, you definitely should go do that. I post fun content every single day, and if you're following me everywhere, you don't have to worry about missing a single moment of it. Also, I will make sure to put a full list of everything we talk about in today's video in the description box as well. And of course, if you have any questions about what I'm talking about or what is on my face, all you have to do is leave me a comment and I will get back to you. With all of that out of the way, let's dive into the new drugstore goodness. Like I said, some things were phenomenal and other things were just a little bit disappointing. I really dislike being negative about drugstore products because you guys know I am a drugstore queen. I really do enjoy my drugstore makeup. Every now and then, though, it's just a little bit disappointing, right? I want to talk about this new foundation right here. So I have been absolutely lusting after this from the very minute I heard that it was coming. I was like, this is going to be so amazing. I'm going to love this so much. This is the new Covergirl Simply Ageless Skin Perfecting Essence. Guys, this is really expensive. This is almost $22. I think it's like $21.49. Something like that. Now, I picked this up at Walgreens. I'm sure it's more expensive at Ulta. I picked it up at Walgreens, though. It was the very last bottle they had in my shade. I was like, yes, it was meant to be. Go in my basket. And then I got it up to the cash register and saw how much it was. And I was like, okay, I hope it's good. Y'all, it's not awful. So it is what I have on my skin today. Guys, no, I never come on here with my makeup freshly done. So I've been wearing this for, I want to say, a good 6 hours at this point. I've been up, I've been cleaning, I've been doing laundry, I washed dishes and cleaned my kitchen. I was scrubbing countertops, things like that, worked up a nice sweat in this as well. And while it doesn't look awful, it definitely looks better on my monitor than it does in real life. I don't know if you guys can see or not, but it has started to like break up around my nose. It just looks patchy. It looks patchy. It's also kind of laying in the lines around my mouth in not a super attractive way. And while, like I said, it doesn't look awful, I have foundations in my collection that don't cost anywhere near this amount of money that perform just as well, if not better. Now, the whole thing that made this so special was because it was supposed to be super hydrating and it was supposed to go on and just give you this really gorgeous glow. Now, like I said, I enjoy this, but I don't think there's anything super special about this. I would say that the coverage is a very light, almost light medium kind of coverage. I don't think it's necessarily very buildable. It tends to look just a little bit heavy and can get very cakey on the face if you try to add too much. Now, I will say it's very cool. It's very cool looking. It's like these little foundation dots floating in this clear serum. It looks very cool. It is very reminiscent of the Rose Ink, that skin perfecting essence thing that they have as well. I will say that this one definitely has more coverage than the Rose Ink one does. Like, there's a good light amount of coverage there. It does feel beautifully hydrating. It goes on and almost like evaporates into the skin. Now, I will say that when I applied this with a brush, it looked awful. It looked streaky and patchy. It just looked like it was kind of sitting on top of the skin. So then when I went back in with my sponge and really pressed it into my skin, it looked a lot better. I think it's a nice foundation. I don't think it's anything special. You guys know I am a dried up, dusty old mummy, so anything that is going to add some glow and hydration to my skin, I am usually like all for. And you know, this does look nice, but I don't feel like it looks particularly hydrating. Once it kind of sinks into the skin, it does leave a really beautiful glow on the skin, but that kind of absorbs rather quickly. And then what you're left with is just this very light, almost powdery kind of coverage. I'm not quite sure how to explain it other than that. Just kind of sinks into the skin, and then you're just kind of left with this pigment that's sitting on top of the skin, and it's not the best. I really, really wanted to like this so much, but considering how expensive it is, and I mean, you're getting a good amount of product, you're getting a standard amount of product, 1 full fluid ounce, for $21.49. I just think you can do better. The only thing that really makes this special is the fact that it's got 0.5% of bakuchiol in there, which is like it is an alternative to retinol, so it's like an age rewind kind of thing. But there are about 1,000,001 different foundations out there that have got some kind of skincare claim to them, so it doesn't make this that much more special. I just think it's a little bit gimmicky. You've got those little pearls of pigment floating in that serum, and I could understand if it left the skin with like, see, as you can see, like it's sunk into my skin now. And while there is just a little bit of a radiance there, I don't know if it's going to pick up on camera, but it just kind of like sits on top. Look how it looks in my lines. Like it just kind of sits on top of the skin. It doesn't really sink in, and I don't think it's super flattering on the skin at all. Like I said, it's like kind of like laying in my lines kind of real badly, actually. Like, I don't know if you guys can see the corner of my mouth, but it looks awful. It's breaking up around my nose. Not very long wearing at all. I'm not a big fan of this. I wanted to like it so much more than I do, and in my opinion, you could probably just skip this one. While we are on the foundation train, I tried another one as well. This week was big for foundations. So this one is more of the same kind of vein. This is the Pacifica Kind Tint Skin Tint Foundation. And this one, it's not bad. It's not bad, but it's not great. This one isn't quite as expensive as the Covergirl. This one is $14. You're getting pretty much the same amount of product. Yeah, you're getting 1 full fluid ounce of product in here. I picked this one up in the shade 17, and this one comes in a nifty little squirt bottle. That's what it looks like. This one is, even though it's a skin tint, this is a tinted serum, but it has more of this kind of like whipped moussey kind of texture to it. It does have a really light amount of coverage. Like it just kind of blends out and just kind of sinks into the skin. Again, I'm not a big fan of this one. I mean, it's okay, but it's not my favorite. I found that this one went on, and it just kind of like, again, it just kind of laid on top of the skin. It was a little bit streaky. It didn't really look fantastic. Not my favorite. I feel like it wears pretty well throughout the day, but there is barely any coverage to it. So, and it does say it's a tinted serum, so it's not supposed to go on and be like a straight up foundation. However, for $14, I do want a little bit of pigment. I want pigment, I want moisture, I want to see some kind of difference on my skin when I'm done using it. And this is so gently pigmented that it barely covered any of my redness. It barely evened out my skin tone. I actually ended up having to add a couple of my Cover FX custom cover drops to it to bump up the coverage just a little bit. And even then, I wasn't impressed with the way that it was laying on my skin. So this, again, is another one of those that I would just kind of skip. If you are looking for a tinted anything, I definitely recommend the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator. It is the very best tinted moisturizer, skin tint, that kind of thing I have found at the drugstore. It is flawless. It's got a beautiful amount of coverage, leaves the skin with this really gorgeous, hydrated, glossy glow. It wears beautifully throughout the day. That's just absolute perfection. This, and it's like half the price of this. I think that's only like $7. This stuff is 14, and it's just like, it's just, there's not enough of a noticeable difference on my skin to justify ever repurchasing this. Moving on to something that I really enjoyed. Now, you guys, if you watched my best of last year, you guys will know that the Wet n Wild Impossible Primer was one of my very favorite primers of the year. I freaking love that stuff so much. And they came out with a stick version of it. Y'all, oh, this is everything I wanted it to be and more. So this goes for $6.99. You get a pretty fair amount of product in here. You get half an ounce of product. I mean, it's a stick, so it's going to go a pretty long ways. So I guess I'm not too awful mad at the amount of product you're getting in here. So it is just a plain white stick, and you swipe it on, and it is so beautiful. It's got the same kind of properties as the regular Impossible Primer. This one, however, is so much more blurring. So if you're wanting something that's a little bit more hydrating, I would go for the regular one in the bottle. But if you want something that's a little bit more blurring, definitely go for the stick. Now, this is the primer that I'm wearing today, and even though I am so not into the foundation that I used on my skin today, I will say that I think it looks as good as it does because I used this primer. It really does make a difference. My pores don't look awful. It smooths everything out. This filled in my lines. It hydrated a little bit. It feels beautifully cooling on the skin as well. And also, I think that if you have like oilier skin and you want to use a blurring primer, but you don't necessarily want to mess with all of the silicone, or you want to try the Impossible Primer, but you don't necessarily want to add that much hydration to your skin, this is a fantastic option. Because it's a stick, it doesn't have that much moisture in it, but it's not drying either. Like, it leaves the skin with a really gorgeous kind of like mattified, blurred finish, but it doesn't feel heavy, it doesn't feel drying, it doesn't feel like stiff in any way. It's just a really fantastic product. I love this stuff. Wet n Wild did something right when they formulated this, the Impossible Primers just in general, but this is a fantastic addition to that line. I tried a new bronzer, and bronzer is one of those things where sometimes it's like really good, and then other times it's really bad. And for me, there are no kind of like just kind of bronzers, especially when it's like when it comes to tone, right? Because when you have fair skin, everything either pulls really orange, or it pulls really red, or it can sometimes have that weird yellow undertone that just makes you look like you're bruised and kind of gross. So I'm just a little bit picky when it comes to my bronzers. Y'all, let me tell you. So this is from Beauty Bakerie. If you don't know who Beauty Bakerie is, they are an independently owned brand. They're actually pretty expensive, but they are available at Target, and you can get some of their products at Target. They're smaller sizes of their original products, but they're for a more affordable price point. So I picked up a couple of their bronzers and some of their blushes. I want to talk about the bronzers first, because these really impressed me. So these are the Beauty Bakerie bite-sized Snackaroons bronzers. I bought two shades. This is the shade House Blend. This is the one that I'm wearing today. First of all, packaging, like this is the unicarton, and then this is the actual packaging. That's what it looks like in there. Super freaking adorable. I love these so much. You are getting a fairly small amount of product, but y'all, really, honestly, how long is it going to take you to go through a full bronzer? Like, this is going to last me absolutely forever. This is the shade House Blend, and it is the most beautiful, super light toned bronzer. Like, it goes on, it gives you just a hint of warmth, but it is so neutral. It doesn't pull orange, it doesn't pull red. If you are looking for just that straight smack dab middle of the road tone, like bronzer tone, like this is just going to add warmth and nothing else. And because it's more of that neutral kind of tone, you can use it to maybe shape your face just a little bit. If you don't necessarily want to contour, but you don't want to add that gray tone to your skin, this is going to do that for you. I adore the packaging. It's got this soft touch matte packaging. It literally looks like a little, almost reminds me of like a little like sweets tin or like a little cupcake container. Really high quality packaging. Now, it is a tiny bit expensive for this bronzer. It's $11.99 at Target, so about $12. which is a little bit pricey for a bronzer, but I think especially for, you know, the amount of product you're getting here, but very, very high quality. Finely milled, y'all. This stuff goes on. It's never patchy. It's the bronzer that I'm wearing today. It looks so beautiful. It doesn't look muddy. It just blends out so easily and just, oh, I love it. I love it so, so much. So this is the shade House Blend, and this is the lightest shade. And then I also picked up the medium shade, and that is the shade I Don't Give a Sip. I love the names too. But y'all, same kind of packaging. This one has quite a bit more warmth to it, but I still love this tone so, so much. This is definitely going to be my summer shade. Definitely a little bit more warmth there, but it still goes on and it blends out so, so beautifully. They're like buttery and soft and silky and smooth, and I just love them so, so much. These are fantastic. Beautifully pigmented, but not scary pigmented. So you can really pack it on your brush and go to town on your face and not have to worry that you can't blend it out. Fantastic. Now, when it comes to the blushes, baby, let me tell you, this is probably one of the most pigmented powder blushes I have in my entire collection. Very, very comparable to the new L'Oreal Infallible blushes. You know how pigmented those are? Almost too pigmented. Very same concept here. I absolutely love the freaking packaging. I think it is so, so pretty. I actually picked this up in 2 different shades as well. I picked up this shade, and then I also picked up a really gorgeous orange shade that I cannot seem to find anywhere, but it is so, so beautiful. So I will pop up a picture of it. Guys, these are stunning. This is the shade... Okay, so this is the shade Heart Beets, like B-E-E-T-Z, you know, like a beet, like the root vegetable. They're so, so cute. I love these, and y'all, so pigmented and so freaking beautiful. Look at that. And they're matte, but they have this kind of quality to them that just goes onto the skin, and they just leave, they almost have like a luminosity to them. There's no, oh, look at that. Look how pigmented it is. Look how gorgeous that tone is. It's the most beautiful kind of like berry kind of tone. I absolutely live. I am wearing it today. Absolutely stunning. They are super easy to blend out, and they're very customizable as well. So if you just very lightly dip your brush into there, you're going to get as much pigment as you could ever need. It blends out beautifully. If you find that you've gone a little bit overboard, it is very, very easy to just take your sponge and just kind of diffuse it out just a little bit, because they are so blendable. You can just kind of diffuse those edges, and it just blends out so, so beautifully. I freaking love these so, so much. The orange one is just as beautiful. This is the kind of blush situation that I would have in every color available. I just like it that much. And because it's so pigmented, it doesn't even bother me that we're getting such a small amount of product. Because again, the lightest, gentlest tap into this pan is going to get you more pigment than you're ever going to be able to use. Like, it is so, so good. But because it blends out so easily, you don't have to worry about it just being too much, especially with a deeper tone like this. I can just imagine this on like some rich, deep, dark skin tone, how freaking stunning it would look. Oh, these are so, so nice. At $12 a piece, they are a little bit pricey, but I definitely think that the quality is there, and they are worth every freaking cent of it. While we're on the subject of blushes, I picked up a couple from the Ulta Beauty brand. So the Ulta Beauty line just isn't one that I give very much attention to. I just kind of overlook them most of the time. I'm usually very preoccupied with everything else. But the last time that I went to Ulta, I came across these, and they were on sale. They're originally $12. They were on sale for $7.20. They're on sale right now for $7.20. And for that price point, I think these are freaking fantastic. So I picked up 2 different shades. I picked up the shade Disco Nights, which is what I'm wearing underneath my beauty bakery today. And then I also picked up the shade Cocktail Hour, which is this really gorgeous kind of like peachy tone. These are stunning. I love the packaging. Really gorgeous, thick, heavy duty plastic packaging. Very, very nice. They're super thin and sleek. Really easy to store, so I appreciate that. And y'all, they're so creamy and so gorgeous. Beautifully pigmented. Like, these are just fantastic. So this is the shade Disco Nights, and it's really gorgeous, kind of like berry tone, but they sheer out beautifully. The texture of them is nice and lightweight. It goes beautifully on an unset face, but then I added just a little bit of it over powder today, and it worked beautifully. Didn't pick up my foundation, didn't displace any of my powder, anything like that. So really versatile, easy to use formula as well. Again, very, very buildable. So you can go in light and get a really gorgeous, like juicy sheer layer of coverage. Then you can add a little bit more to it and really build up that pigmentation. They look so juicy and glossy and glowy on the skin. Like this is a summertime blush all day, every day. They're called the Blush Beams Cream Blushes. These things are delightful. I like these. So the berry tone is gorgeous. I also really, really enjoy the peach tone as well. They have that really gorgeous, glossy, juicy kind of finish to them. They remind me very much of the Tarte Maracuja Juicy blushes. I have a couple of those in my collection, and these have that almost same kind of finish. However, the Tarte ones, they have almost this sticky, tacky finish on the skin, whereas these ones, they give you that really gorgeous, glossy, glowy kind of finish, but they're not super tacky. Like, they definitely don't dry down, like, all the way, but they're not quite as thick and sticky as the Tarte ones, so they don't grab onto hair and things like that. They set really beautifully with powder as well. So if you want to set them with powder, that goes pretty beautifully. Doesn't grab at the powder. It doesn't bunch up. It doesn't look weird or gross or look thick or cakey on the skin. Just a really beautiful, beautiful formula. I enjoy these very, very much. And they have these in a couple of different colors. So next time I go back, I'm definitely going to pick up the rest of them because these were so, so nice. Definitely, definitely reminds me of the Tarte ones, but I like these ones even better. So Maybelline came out with some new shades of their vinyl ink. And you guys already know I am a big, giant lover of the Maybelline vinyl inks. I think they're fantastic. They're no fuss, they're no muss, they're long wearing, they're beautifully glossy and shiny, but they don't smear all over your face, they don't migrate. They're just a really fantastic lip formula. I know that I am not the only one that feels that way. Everybody and their mama freaking loves this formula, and they came out with some new pink shades, I'm assuming in honor of Valentine's Day. So I picked up 3 of them. I picked up the shade, this is the shade Upbeat, and this one is a really gorgeous light kind of baby pink tone. It's definitely not the same shade as the carton or as the packaging. It's not quite as bright and baby pink. It's more of like a nudie kind of pink, but still very pretty. I also picked up the shade Shocking, which is one of my favorites. This one is just a really gorgeous, bright, very strong, bold kind of fuchsia pink. But my very favorite shade out of them all is the shade that I am wearing today, and it is this really gorgeous kind of like lavendery pink, almost purple kind of shade. This is the tone Edgy, and it is my very, very favorite. It's like this really gorgeous mauvey purple kind of tone. Super, super pretty. As bright and like bold as the packaging colors are, I find that the colors themselves are much more wearable. They're a little bit more subdued, perfect for everyday kind of wear. I do think, what was it? The shade Upbeat and the shade Edgy, so these outer two, I do think would be perfect for everyday wear. They're not going to be difficult to wear at all. They're not too bold or too much. I do think they're more on the neutral side of pink. And then I like that they really added this super bold, bright fuchsia. I think it's super fun. The formula is the same as all of the other shades. Wears beautifully. Again, I've had this on for about 6 hours. Haven't touched up my lipstick at all. It still looks beautifully shiny and gorgeous. My favorite thing about this formula, though, is that it doesn't migrate. I have the biggest problem with my lipstick kind of migrating to the outer corners of my mouth, just kind of like pooling at the corners of my mouth, and it's gross. It's gross, it's not cute, and it's not something I enjoy at all, and this formula never does that. They never feel drying, they never feel tight or uncomfortable on the lips. They're just, you never have to worry about them smearing onto your teeth. They're just really, really good. They're easy to wear, they're no fuss, they're no muss, and these new colors are just as pretty as I wanted them to be. The only thing is, I wish that this kind of like bright baby pink was a little bit more pastel. However, I understand they needed to make a shade that was wearable for as many people as possible, and oftentimes this shade can look a little bit ashy or a little bit powdery on other skin tones, so I accept it, but I'm really waiting for like a nice bright baby candy pink lipstick. If you guys know of one, please let me know because I'm on the lookout. And then last but not least, kind of like the pièce de résistance of today's video, is this thing right here. Now this is not necessarily a drugstore palette. This is technically an independently owned brand, but I wanted to kind of highlight it because I've been really insistent. I've been really interested in trying out new brands this year. It's one of my biggest goals, is to try out as many new indie brands as I can, you know, comfortably, and, you know, as I can afford it. But I found this one on sale on the TikTok shop. This is from Playing in Makeup by Yolando. She is a Black owned business. She is stunning. She has some really fantastic products just in general. She's a little bit expensive, but again, she is, you know, she's an indie brand, so it's just kind of to be expected. But also with those higher price points comes higher quality, and this thing is freaking fantastic. It has very quickly become one of my very favorite new palettes. So this is the Jamrock Extreme palette. I picked this up on sale for $15. Y'all, when I tell you, this is so good. Now, this is full of really gorgeous metallic shades. Now, there are quite a few mattes in here, but I think as beautiful and easily blendable and buildable and gorgeous as the mattes are, beautifully pigmented, super easy to work with. They freaking swatch for absolute days. Like, the pigment is there. They're stunning. I do, however, think that the metallics are really what shines in this palette. The metallics are probably some of the most pigmented, gorgeous metallics I've used in a long time. Like, they swatch for absolute freaking days. They're so beautiful and so pigmented. I have used this palette so many times at this point, and every single time I use them, I am just completely and totally blown away. I just have the best time just swatching them because they're so pretty and they swatch so well. Like, it's just, look at that freaking pigment, y'all. And they pick up beautifully with both a finger and a brush. They look just as pretty applied with a brush as they do when you swatch them with your finger. Like, look at those freaking swatches, guys. And I'm like, and you guys know I'm super gentle with my palettes, so I'm not like digging my finger in there at all. There are no fingerprints or anything. Like, there's no indentations in any of my pans. Like, I'm just gently rubbing over the top, and I'm getting the most gorgeous freaking swatches. Like, they're that freaking pigmented. That one. And do just a little bit more. But look at that. Like, you can't look at those and not just like your fingers instantly go to twitching. I know I watched her demonstrate her palette on TikTok, and I was like, oh yeah, we're going shopping. This was, oh, so pretty. I've worked with this palette, I want to say 5 or 6 times at this point. I've used every shade in the palette, and they're all fantastic. They are all the same quality, super high quality. I love the shimmers because they have a good moisture content, but they're not so wet like a putty formula that you can't pick them up with your brush, but they give that really gorgeous, like, metallic sheeny shine on the face, on the eyes. They're just so pretty. I can't get over how pretty they are. You also have a couple of glitters in here as well. You get 1, 2, 3, 4 different glitters in here. The glitters are just as beautiful. This green one is my favorite. Look how freaking pigmented that glitter is. Oh, and they stick really beautifully to the face as well. Like, they have a nice amount of, like, I don't know what it is that makes them stick, but they do stick beautifully on their own. So if you just kind of like press them onto the eye, you don't necessarily have to have a glitter glue if you don't want. They're super fine and like feeny. So there's no big chunky glitter going everywhere all over your face. Like, oh, and the colors are just so freaking pretty. Guys, this palette is stunning. I just kind of wanted to highlight this brand just in general, just because I don't hear a ton of people talking about it. I'm not sure if she's new or not, but y'all, if you are interested in trying out some new indie brands, I definitely recommend checking out this one because so good. She's got a bunch of stuff on her website that I really want to check out. But on top of that, when I placed my order, she also sent me a freebie, which is another reason I love shopping with independently owned brands, because they care about their customers. They value your order. And 9 times out of 10, they'll send you a little something extra just for placing your order. So she sent me her Dye Define liquid eyeliner. This is in the shade Modena. And this is the most gorgeous, like, deep purple. Let me show you. The most gorgeous deep purple freaking liquid eyeliner. The packaging is absolutely freaking stunning. It is a brush tip applicator, and this is what the packaging looks like. Oh, so pretty. Everything about this brand just, ooh, it makes me feel good. It gives me good feelings in my it's just good. I enjoyed it. I like it very much. I will be buying more things from her in the near future. We gotta wait for the next payday, but more things are coming. Guys, with that, that is the end of this week's New Makeup Monday. I do so hope that you enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful to you in some small way. If you did enjoy today's video, don't forget to give it a big old thumbs up before you leave. Guys, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do that too. I will see you next time. As always, no filters, no fancy lighting. It is just me sitting in front of my camera, kind of gushing about some new makeup, really just having the time of my life. Guys, as always, I love you so very much. And until next time, stay safe, take care of yourselves, and remember, you're important. Bye.